Hi everybody, my name's Sean Arlen, the general. The general manager and jock of all trades at Brilliant Skies Limited. Thanks Alan for inviting me to talk. This is just Alan.
Do you need to do that?
No, it's Brilliant Skies was funded in Glasgow by Nick Smart. He was a defence engineer and two of his friends in 2012. We just won the best technical design at the Scottish Games Week in October. And yeah, they decided they wanted to make from the depths when they seen the success of Minecraft. Initially, its first design didn't go too well, and Nick ended up into the persevere on his own. Over time, sea monsters were added to the game, and terrain, land information, cannons, AI, buoyancy, and so on. And with each piece of knowledge, gained more knowledge and direction. Sea Monsters gave Nick the idea for the title From the Depths. He decided that players would work cooperatively to fight them. After piquing the interest of enough players, the game was approved for Steam Greenlight and early access in 2014. If you don't know what Steam Greenlight was, indie developers used to have to pay a fee. You used to have to campaign to get enough players to get your game on the Steam store. So what is From the Depths now? This is a very, very short description, but basically, in From the Depths you can use thousands of different blocks and multi-block systems and engines, detection, AI to create the vehicles of your dreams. When you have them perfected, you can take them into a grand strategy against the 8 factions in the air, and there's a few other game modes. It's quite a far cry from the first concept that existed in 2013. From the Depths was a success story when it entered early access, and why was that? Community. Community was, the game had a very active community on its forums, and the players have loved having so much input into the development process. This was in no small part due to Nick's heavy involvement in the forums, asking players for feedback and opinions. Players loved having such a huge say in the direction of development. Not long after entering Steam Greenlight, it became apparent that as the AI systems were flashed out and players started creating the game's enemies, that getting rid of sea monsters was the direction the game was going to take. Nick decided to axe sea monsters and instead concentrate on the AI physics and multi-block systems players could use. Nick went back to an old concept where there would be 8 factions and there would be styles. To facilitate this further, Nick took on 2 community members, Majesty and Kaz, to place to help with content detection and modeling. Magist created a system where the couple, or keepers of the lore, each couple was in charge of creating the vehicles and lore surrounding each faction, and they had to post bounties for the rest of the community to get involved and create blueprints to be used in the game. He also took on Kaz, and Kaz showed a keen interest for making assets in the game, and all of this was via the community interaction on the forums. So, basically, this is how we use user-generated content in the game. Each faction has 1 or 2 people who oversee keeping the faction relevant within the current framework and capabilities of the game. As time goes on, some systems might change in the game, or the vehicles in general might just feel out of date. It's up to these people to organise within the community updates and replacements. They are then submitted to reviews, and they're added into the game by the ADK. I step in myself sometimes just to make sure that there's constant workflow. This has enabled the game to have breadth of designs and a level of quality that just would have been impossible if it was through staff. Each one of the blueprints can take months sometimes to make, and there's just absolutely no way this could be done any other way. We also, to allow them to keep on top of this, we allowed the couple to use our mirror infrared whiteboarding tool and that keeps track of the game's 500 or so designs. So, how do you foster this kind of community input? Firstly, you have to provide a facet for the community to be able to interact with you and your developers. This could be forums, Discord, some sort of Jira thing we use, customer case. And you need to kind of get that back and forth. As a developer, you have to be visible. You have to show that you care about your community and that you're willing to listen to them. If you kind of struggle mentally, humans are horrible, you could get a volunteer or an employee to act as community manager to fill out the noise. And then you could have like a daily or a weekly meeting, talk about what the community's, get them to bring to you what the community's saying, and then get them to feedback. To make players happy, it's good if you can find some way to share their new content, be it through social media or some channel or Steam Workshop. Get them to be able to market their own things so they can generate a buzz for the product. Make any volunteers for your value. Now this might seem like common sense, but I see it all the time in various communities. I mean, people just don't say thank you, and it creates a bad feeling. One of the main ways we have allowed players to share their designs is via Steam Workshop. Players can upload their designs, worlds and mods to the workshop, and these can be viewed and downloaded by the rest of the community. This also features in the game's launcher. As of right now, there are over 100,000 items on the workshop, which when considering most designs taken as 10 hours to make, that's a huge amount of investment time in the game. So how do you enable the community to make this content? And from the depths, creators were taken on as developers, and community content is added into the product. Player modifications were considered at the very start of development. We've got various ways that players can override textures, audio, meshes. If you're more experienced, you can decompile the game, make your own mods, and those can all be loaded in and again uploaded to the Steam Workshop. There's also a world editor, so people can create their own worlds. They can put in their own physics, blueprints, whatever, into there, and then that planet can be downloaded entirely with everything contained within it. So you're in a Christmas one, so something. The game also has got a wheel library inside it, so if people want to go above and beyond the AI that's there, they can do that. There's also a breadboard feature, so you can get into really advanced mathematics and stuff, and that opens up all the individual blocks variables to be used. And what some people create, especially the Japanese players, it's just totally mind-blowing. So this was from the depths in 2015. There's a big jump from 2015 to 2019, and that was almost entirely driven by users and players coming on as staff members and through free. In 2019, on the road to release, the team was up at 15 members at its max. 13 of those were all players who came on in some capacity. And then in 2023, it's a true evolution of the product brought about by user-generated content. So, me. I joined the team in 2019 as a project manager and developer. I played FTD for a long time. I'd been in a car crash, it broke my spine. I ended up with a functional neurological disorder, which I still don't have. I was really struggling to make it to work, and my bosses just wouldn't let me work from home, which these days is unheard of. So during my recovery, I'd been playing from the depths a lot, and I'd create my own system world, which like saw, and that got really interested in me. I went to Glasgow, because a lot of developers over to various countries, met the neck. So why should you are here? Contrary to what you might believe, you are not Jesus, God. There are talented people that want to help. Creating is how some people relax. People that make mods, art, models, whatever, do it because they love it. These people already love their job. You're halfway there. Some people want to be in the games industry, but don't know how to be in the games industry. Certainly I was one of those people at one point. It's really tough, I think, sometimes to break into it and get people to notice you and be offered an opportunity. So people make mods, and they want, they're screaming, "Hello, I'm here." Creators show that they have the drive, commitment, and ability through the things that they make. You can learn more from the mod or content about the capabilities of someone and through the interaction in Discord and forums than you ever could in an interview. Interview for 10 minutes, forum, a piece of creation could have been months, years, and you've seen that interaction all the way. Something to consider though. Just because it's a good mod doesn't mean it's good code. So, you have to consider how much time and money is it going to take to make this work. Is it full of bugs? I really want to take this on. Is that you've got time as a product owner to spend on filtering this? Some volunteers and creators, they have got used to working to their own time and don't particularly like deadlines or just kind of ignore them. So I'm going to make sure that if you set a deadline, make sure that you've got it far enough in the future and check in on them, make sure everything's going all right. Beware of copyright problems if they're giving you some work. This was something somebody tried to give me for the game. It's clearly Warhammer 40k. Yeah, so that was immediate no. Employees in different time zones are not always a good fit for your business. Do you want regular meetings at 2 a.m.? We've got somebody in the Dominican Republic, somebody in Hungary, somebody in France. So sometimes we've got to make that sacrifice, but if it's not right for you, then there's no point. So at that point, you have to kind of bring your net in and make sure you ask those questions before you take it over. How are you going to pay them if they're in another country? This probably requires talk on its own. Maybe talk to an accountant or a legal expert, but usually take them on as contractors. It's a bit of a minefield. Legally as well, if it's international staff you employ, legal documents might not mean very much because trying to enforce it is limited out of your limited amount of money that you've got anyway. It's going to be hard to ever enforce these, so you've got to take steps to mitigate your risk. Volunteers can disappear as fast as they appear. Life happens. These people generally don't have much, commitment to you. So you've always got to keep checking in on volunteers and make sure that if they're not there, that the task gets moved on to somebody else. There are some recommendations though. If you're taking somebody on, maybe set them a different task that they're a little bit out of their comfort zone. See how they get on. Give them a deadline. See if they can meet that deadline. Change your business to enable working from home. Obviously, that provides a degree of flexibility. And quite often, modders are from nowhere near where your office is. If you come on. You can use applications such as Slack, Teams, Zoom, or other work management tools like Jira to organize things. If you've not already set up a repository such as SVN or Git, this way your work's version controlled and safe. You can undo things if you need to. If you're being visible, it would be never beat things. And it's very, you see a lot, they get very, 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 very defensive about their work. Just don't, if somebody's being rude, get a moderator to deal with it. Try not to be rude, just be courteous. Remember that users could be from any age group, different countries, and everybody's got a great grasp of your native language. In conclusion, creators can have a positive impact on your product, business if you can. Change your business to suit their needs, so working from home, all that kind of stuff. Empower them via tools, materials, etc. So basically, spend the time at the beginning to make it better from there. don't be too strict with deadlines as we're volunteers, and be willing to listen and act for feedback, and shout about your user-generated content, be it on Twitter or whatever. And as you can see here, likes, shares, once it starts, once the snowball gets going, it keeps going, and it's free market for you, organic marketing is the best. Thanks for listening. There is a Japanese guy called Zombie, and he spent a year making this gigantic humanoid thing that is just the easiest thing you've ever seen. And it moves so organically, and it's just amazing. Totally, when I showed it to Nick, he was, what? I think it's kind of like somebody, an artist using the wrong medium, but it looks absolutely fantastic. The spots are crazy, the sky.
How does sort of like, so but how does like IP ownership work though, if you're taking stuff from the community and then making money from the creations?
Yeah, we do. We have contracts with them.
Are they sort of paid or do they?
Yeah, if it's sizable, some people are just one guy that worked in Silicon Valley that didn't want to make stuff just for the what we did for him was like a drop in the ocean where he was getting paid anyway. So you've got to be open to it as well. The development's going to be a lot more organic and less structured. Obviously, there's a lot of shouldn't be a lot of time delays and praise, but there's always going to have some environment.
Oh yeah, no. So obviously this is the content generated, user generated content. Fantastic. You obviously look at the Minecraft would work for you. But the thing is that I believe that there's a limit to how many games can have the critical mass.
Totally. It works well for us to build a game. So
yeah, and in 2015, which was like obviously you can still have that kind of stuff. Even like in smaller mobile games, like I don't want to say smaller, like in Brawl Stars you have user generated maps, right? And it's a kids, right? But that you still have a user mass that is critically large. Right? Do you have any tips on how to reach a critical mass?
Yeah, well, I think for us at the beginning, there was a case of reaching out to as many influencers and stuff as we could, and trying to generate that buzz. And you're right, it is incredibly difficult, especially for a big startup. I think we were very fortunate that we fell into an absolute niche. That what the game offers, nobody else offers. So when people started seeing these things, oh my God, I think if you're, especially in the mobile market, I think somebody said this Scottish Games Week, I think it's like 1% of companies that are successful. And people, you're up against people that are coming into the market, just all guns blazing, and you're never going to get seen. I think it's a question I still wrestle with, to be honest with you. And we ask this question all the time. We've got another game we're making stuff, that question's getting asked to stop. What do we get people interested in this game?
I mean, it's not possible. Like you've seen, for example, in Siege recently, like they have a massive community, or Olive Rage. They have this.
It's one of those things as well where you could have developed it and then it actually doesn't take off for years. And we're actually kind of going through a bizarre resurgence. And there was a quiet period for, even after release, there was a quiet period for 2 years. And all of a sudden it's a popular game because a YouTuber that did a video in 2016 is revisiting it. So, sometimes you just don't know what's coming. Sorry.
What's the kind of threshold from somebody going from a volunteer to an employee? Do they make so many creations? And do they also know that's an option for them? Do they know if they get to a certain level of what they've made, they might be asked to be an employee?
It's obvious now because we've done it with so many people. But originally, I think when Nick was, Nick was here because obviously I wasn't there that time. I think it was always there. he kind of hinted that I'm looking for people to help. I think he actually came up and said, does anybody know how to do this? And putting himself out there got the attention of a lot of really smart people. I mean, the game, the way it is, it attracts really smart people because of the high level maths and stuff. So a lot of people that play the game are actually developers for other products. And once you get those kind of people that are interested, see it like RimWorld and Skyrim and stuff as well. Once you get good people playing your game, they start making content for it. And then you can always pose the question, would you be willing to do it? And we have asked some people who said no, because they want to do it for fun. They're quite clear, and fine. We've had a few horror stories as well, where we took somebody on and it just didn't work out. But there is a threshold. You look at it and you can tell immediately by the quality of their model, their asset. It's very obvious when you look at, for instance, the blueprints that people make using Builder, using that, just through their knowledge of physics and stuff like that. Sorry, Alex checking me off. Is there anything else? Yeah.
You were describing how it's got 8 factions, so I was just wondering if the factions, if they had any advantages or disadvantages over each one.
Yeah.
And if so, how do you keep that under control under a modding community?
Yeah. Well, so basically, there is a very strict set of guidelines. There's actually a lore for each faction, and then the weapons and technology stuff that they're use kind of falls within that lore as well. Power creep is a very hard thing to fight. Everybody that wants to make something new wants to make it better than the last one. That's the call of the community manager people that I mentioned earlier. They have a very strict thing to say we and stop the difficulty getting increasing, because what happens is you just end up with this bunch of stuff that's great for the veterans that play for thousands of hours, but for the beginners it ends up being difficult. So there's 4 different buttons. There's easy, regular, hard, and monthly. The monthly ones, something, those are just amazing over-engineered things.